little bit, and I'd like to have Jim Brinkman. Would you come on up, Jim? I don't think we mentioned him. He's a claims supervisor for Great American Crop Insurance Company out of Peoria, Illinois. And when we get in trouble, we call Jim, because sometimes we don't always have all the answers as far as the agent. What I'd like to have or direct your attention to first is paper. It says spring 2011. I work with the SAHR Crop Insurance Agency out of East Michigan, and this is what we sort of went around with back in about 2006. We had a wet fall, and we started trying to put something together for preventive planting. And this is what has evolved over the years. If you was to look at this preventive planting, it says claims must be submitted during the late planting period. When can I file a claim, Jim?
If you're claiming prevent plant corn, actually the final plant date is June 5th. So on June 6th you can file your prevent plant corn.
Now, did we mention Vern Dumas here?
I didn't see Vern.
Yeah, we mentioned him. He's an adjuster. He works, I guess, with Jim at times. But when they go out there, or when you go to a farmer, what do you expect to find? What are you guys looking for?
Bare ground.
Bare
where they
ground.
haven't planted a crop.
Okay. Do you want them guys to take a picture of it?
No.
What do you think, Jim?
Well, what we're looking for when we go out there is if you're claiming prevent plant, there needs to be a reason why it's prevent plant, not just bare dirt. I mean, if we can get a picture of what our company requires is we need to have a picture. And what we're going to do is take a picture of maybe you've got some tracks with water laying in, or maybe you've just got some ponding area. That's what we want to get a picture of. That's going to verify that it was excess precipitation, the reason why you couldn't get your corn in, by June 5th. So that's what we're looking for.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Vern.
Well, we don't want the producer to take the picture. We want to take the pictures ourselves.
Okay.
Your question was, should they have a picture? And actually, no.
Okay. So, but anyway, you need some evidence or something. So, if you're going to try to claim it, you need to get with the agent so we can file the claim timely, and then they can address it or call the farmer or call you, and we can get this so that it's approved.
Is this by June 5th you gotta have this done? Like we get a week of dry weather? What? I mean, how many days after June 5th?
After June 5th, you can call me or your agent, whoever it may be, and file the claim. We have to file a claim so that, and Jim, in his case, he has several agents or adjusters under him. He has to notify them or assign them that claim.
And then they'll make a phone call to you, they'll start the dialogue, they'll, you'll tell them where the field is that you're going to prevent plant, they'll go out, take the picture, and, we have to start our documentation at that time. We don't want to wait till June 20th and then you claim prevent plant. We go out, look at the field, and it's completely dry. That's what we want to avoid.
But if you claim like we're gonna have a week of dry weather, so we're claiming that June 5th, I mean the place will be all dried up by June 8th. So what do you do with it then? I mean, there won't be no tracks or nothing.
That's why we want to be out there earlier. If you're claiming PP, if it dries up, you can always plant it. That's not a problem.
See, and we can withdraw that claim too. You'll gladly withdraw it. So I guess I want to continue on here on this option 1. Your claim preventive planting. You can leave the ground empty. And then we got nothing shows up on your database, APH history, no penalty received, 60, 65, 70% of the liability. That's what you would receive as a payment. As far as leave the ground bare, the people I work with as my customers, I recommend you know, if you want to go prevent plant, I recommend that you summerflower that and get ready for the fall crop. Then you don't get a hit on your APH database. Has anybody got confusion on what I'm talking about as far as a hit on it? I mean, they'll give you, what is it, 60% of whatever your APH is for that section. So if you got corn, let's say for example, 140 bushel, 60% of that would be what they would submit for 2011 as your APH. So then you combine them and it throws your average down in that section. And that's why I recommend that you don't go to the second crop. If you do go to the second crop, you're only going to get 35% of that corn payment. Then we go into another scenario as far as whether I insure the second crop or we go from there. Option 2.
Ron?
Yes.
If you go prevent plant on corn, don't you have to insure the second crop?
Right, you have to, and you cannot plant, you can't plant the second crop until after the late planting period of corn, which is 25 days. So basically, if you're claimed prevent plant corn and want to plant a second crop, you can't do it until July 1st.
Which is also already late for beans.
Right, right. I guess while we're on this spot, I just kind of run some numbers here. And this is someone that, let's say, is thinking about claiming prevent plant corn, what his payment may be. On this example, the insured has 150 bushel APH, and he bought the 75% level. So that means his timely guarantee is 112.5 bushel per acre. And the corn price is $6.01, so we multiply that out, and he has a total revenue guarantee of $676.13. That's what he's guaranteeing himself on that corn crop planted timely. Okay, now he chooses to prevent plant. Corn is only 60% of the timely guarantee, so that reduces his prevent plant payment to $405.68, and that's what you would get if you had this APH and this level and you left the ground lay idle for the year. Now you decide you want to plant a second crop. Automatically, you're only going to get 35% of that $405, so that's going to bring your payment down to $141.98. That's what your prevent plant payment's going to be if you plant a second crop. Now then, this is the kicker, you can't plant a second crop until July 1st. So,
At 1% a day or 60%, right?
right, yeah. And soybeans is, I think, June 20th. Dry beans is June 25th.
June 15th.
Oh, June 15th, yeah, excuse me, 15th. So, you know, I guess I really don't know. To me, I agree like Ron, the only way that it's beneficial to the grower is if you leave the ground bare. And if you're planning on planting anything, you know, in this same scenario, if this guy plants his corn 5 days late, his guarantee goes from 112.5 bushel down to 101. So I mean, he's really not losing that much. And then you're getting your crop planted timely. I mean, then if you want to go in and plant your soybeans, you can get those planted timely. I mean, it's just, that's just my recommendation.
If we elect to put in a cover crop, how do we document that? And I assume it's allowed.
Yeah, it's allowed. The only thing, you can't do anything with it like until after November 1st.
In terms of destroying it?
Right. Or harvesting, you know, if you want to. We've had different guys say, well, you know, I'll use soybeans as a cover crop. And then I can go in and November 1st, I can harvest them. Well, that doesn't work. It has to be an approved cover crop. Soybeans, you know, is not an approved cover crop. Yeah.
Would you kind of speak on the enterprise units then, like on corn?
As far, well, you mean as far as,
Well, if you got enterprise units and you have corn already in this section, you have to plant corn in your other section or you get penalized.
well,
I think what he's reverting back, or referring to is that it goes, you lose your enterprise unit discount. Is that what you're referring to?
You have to plant a percentage in your second section.
see, that's Ron and Julie's. I don't really get into that part of
Is
it.
that, this is what we're saying in our office, is that if you don't get it in that second section, some acreage, then it defaults back to an optional unit.
You gotta have 2 planted acreages, 2 sections planted, the rest of it can be prevent plant, and you won't lose your enterprise unit discount. It's gotta be acres in separate sections. If you got one field planted, but the other field isn't, you'll lose the discount. Still file prevent plant, but you're gonna pay a larger premium on that prevent plant. Make sense?
Can that second one be divided among, say, 3 sections, if you got 10 acres in one and 5 in 5?
10 aggregate. It's an aggregate.
It's an aggregate, yes. For an enterprise unit, that's correct, it's an aggregate.
You're gonna qualify.
Yeah.
But what, for crop insurance now, for acres verification, I heard earlier that, you know, the comment was made if you have a 30-acre field and you only get 27 acres of it planted, you know, report to the FSA that 3 acres. What our company requires is any partial acreage, it needs to be measured by an adjuster
Okay,
on PP. If it is, let's say, a complete field that's already, you know, has the CLU, it's already determined acres, we're just good to go with that. But if it's partial fields with prevent plant, the adjuster has to measure that.
So you can go around a mud hole and collect prevent plant on
As
there?
long as it's 20 acres or 20% of the unit.
but now I was told yesterday, talking with another adjuster, that if it was an enterprise unit, if that was my option, and I was gonna plant 400 acres of corn, that was considered my unit, and I have some mud puddles or ponds out there, and I go around them in the enterprise unit, then I can count those being in different sections. If they all added up to 20 acres or 20% of the total unit, then it would work. But if I'm in a basic or an optional unit, then it goes back to what
Well,
Jim's saying.
it's still 20 acres or 20%. If you have an
of that
optional
section.
unit,
Yeah,
if you have an optional unit that's, let's say, 10 acres.
Yeah.
20 acres, well, that's obviously not gonna be the qualifier, it's gonna be 20%. So it's the same thing, if you have an enterprise unit that's 1,000 acres, well, 10% is gonna be
100.
100, so actually the 20 acres is gonna be the qualifier.
Yeah, but you could have a 15-acre field that you couldn't get into, and then a 5-acre mud
Correct,
field and a
correct.
different one.
Right.
And if it's enterprise, we can combine them and qualify. We got a question right here, but the guy,
I'll just back on your example there, you, on the second crop on your corn, you get 35% of your prevent plant
Payment, right.
paying. And then the second crop is insured, right?
It has to be
It
insured.
has to be insured if you do that.
Right.
And then the second crop is insured fully then.
Well, it won't be fully because you can't plant a crop until July
Right,
1st.
right.
So it's gonna be, no matter what you plant, it's gonna be in the late plant situation.
But the second crop could be insured like that.
It has to be, if it's on your policy. Yeah,
And the cover crop, you said you couldn't do anything with it till November 1st?
correct.
Can't plant wheat
Oh, yeah.
before that?
Oh, yeah, that's not considered a cover crop. That's your crop for the 2012 year. So if you're claiming prevent plant, you wanna summer follow it, you're more than, you know, you can go in this fall and September, work it down and plant wheat, and that's perfectly legal to do that.
Plant level it, get it all
Right,
ready
yeah.
for the next crop, there's.
Another question right here.
And you lose nothing on your APH? when
No.
your APH
No.
everything stays the
Yeah,
same?
wheat, that's just considered a 2012 crop.
Ken?
Yeah, and cover crops, is alfalfa considered approved cover crop?
Mm. What's that, Julie?
If you don't harvest it.
Alfalfa. If he was to seed alfalfa.
Right.
How did you put it alfalfa and get this down?
Yeah, that'd be the same thing as a wheat crop for the next year.
Any other questions? I wanna continue on, the option 2. Oh.
I just wanted to clarify, because he talked about if we do that 3 acres that didn't get planted, on that field, you would have to measure that 3 acres if they wanted to use that as planting.
Well, you know, they can report to you the 3 acres, but for the claim to be paid, when the adjuster works it, they're gonna go out, they have to measure it, and let's say it's only 2.8 acres, that's what it's gonna be paid at. But let's say they measure it and it's 3.2, then it's gonna be paid at the 3 that's on their
But it's
acre.
still to their advantage to certify that as idle ground.
Correct.
Rather than being planted to
Right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to.